Hey, what's going on?
Hey now, how you doing?
GM. Happy Easter Monday. Happy long weekend.
You scared the shit out of me. I thought I had to remember, so you were about to go happy, and I was like, "Oh fuck, what is Monday?"
Happy birthday. It's Free Market's birthday. No, I'm just kidding. That was already passed.
Already passed, never to happen again. Yes, correct. It is the day after Easter. Eggs were painted yesterday. Chocolate was eaten. Bunnies were delivering goodies all around the world, and it was nice.
Yeah, I had a good Easter dinner with the fam. Nice little
What did you have?
Sunday. Yeah, we just did like the ham, potatoes, veggies, dessert. Nothing crazy, nothing huge. I know some people go all out for it with the turkey and whatnot.
My father once got a rabbit on Easter for dinner.
Is that good or is that sad?
That was traumatizing? For a child? Yeah, it was fucked up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, rabbit is good, but then I was like putting the Easter connection together and like maybe not the day for it.
Yeah, I given it was a holiday weekend, I basically turned off Discord. I turned off social media. I really was not on much this weekend. Tried to put my feet in the grass, smoke some grass, and here we are.
Nice little disconnect is always in order.
Now
myself included. Yep, I just had a bunch of stuff to kind of tend to, and it was good. It was enjoyable, and here we are.
My Discord notifications are immense.
Yeah, you got to start going through the inbox.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Yep, so many stacked, and I got to start going through them. It's what you know. This is what holiday weekends do, but we will clear out that cache. By the end of the I genuinely forgot which one it was that time.
Yeah, well, because you put the question mark on the end of it, and then I forgot which one it was too, because I couldn't figure out. Then
I have really word up.
Yeah, in my mind, I have no idea. I'm probably saying it wrong in real life now. I probably just avoid saying it altogether. So, David Howe saying he sent you an essay on Discord. Better start reading that. GM guys, Cosmos, Decoy, Millennial Meta, David Howe, SBM, Dekenza, here for the single project market revival alpha. Yeah, well, there's one thing on everybody's mind, and starts with an M and ends with an MOONBIRD. You're right over there. Okay, attacked by a dog.
I'll be okay. We'll be all right. Yes. So, yes, David. I actually really like your essays. I just, I'm looking forward to reading it after the show. Trust me. Don't say sorry. I enjoy your essays.
This is this is gonna be just a quick show today for you guys. Just a little bit of a recap. Obviously, Moonbirds was the topic of discussion, so we will get into that eventually. Murakami Flowers is dropping today. A little bit of news coming out. Some news that I think is actually really bullish too. So we'll talk about that. And then, of course, our everyone's beloved crypto market is taking a little bit of a dip. So we'll try and figure out what's going on there. Free market, you want to start this thing off? GM DJs, and welcome to the April 18th episode 113 edition of the AM Morning Show, hosted live on YouTube and Twitch. Happy Easter weekend to everybody that celebrates. Happy long weekend, or just happy weekend, happy Monday, whatever. I am your host, R2DGen, and with me, as always, Free Market Capitalist.
Hey now,
as I was just saying on the show, or on the pre-show there, crypto markets are taking a little bit of a dip. Everybody's watching that very closely to see where it will go. Again, these kind of long weekends, I don't know what it is about them, but maybe it's just confirmation bias in my own head. Always seem to hit crypto pretty hard. But we'll take a quick look at that. FMC will break it down for us. We got some news. NBA looking to move heavier into NFTs. I think that's a very bullish sign. Murakami Flowers is dropping today, and then of course everybody's favorite subject. Nobody's ever heard of this one, and nobody's been talking about it. Moonbirds. And yeah, that's what our show is going to be looking like today. Free market, you pulled up the cryptocurrency market this morning and had a quick gander. What are you seeing out there right now? Bitcoin fell below 40,000. ETH dropped below 3,000. It was headed fast for 2,900 right now too, as this dip looks very sharp and downward.
Well, we talked about it last week after we lost 3,200. Chart flipped neutral, and it could go either way. And 2,800 is really the last stop before Goblin Town, right? If 2,800 was a bit of a wall for us as we tried to climb out of that inflation geopolitical nightmare we were in for a couple months, lived under it, bounced up against it, broke above it decidedly. Everything was feeling very bullish, and on cue, just as we ran into major resistance, that again, had we broken above this resistance, it was pretty much a sign, and I'm talking about traditional markets, that all was well, that all the bad stuff was behind us, and we just weren't ready for that yet. We needed a pullback. You would have preferred it to be more orderly consolidation for the next leg up, but here we are now. The chart is flipped short-term bearish. There is more chance we see 2,800 before we see 3,200. That said, we need to see what happens there, because it was very tough resistance for a while, and it would be nice to see it now turned into support. Today is a very big day because it is tax day. Your taxes are due today.
Yes.
Anybody that needed to send in a check may have been reaching for liquidity on Sunday or today. Let's see if the sell pressure on all assets starts to lift a bit tomorrow based on that. And again, we are right near kind of our last ditch support. Either we are on a fast train to Goblin Town, or we will bounce there. The charts will start to firm up again. We'll get healthy, and we'll get ready for the next leg up. That is what I think is going to happen, but we must respect what is in front of us. The charts have flipped short-term bearish. The goblins are happy, and we must wait and see.
Yeah, it's gonna be probably a precarious week. Obviously, getting above 3,200 and putting some distance in between that and 2,800, as you said, is going to be pretty vital at this point. But yeah, ever right. It's it kind of is what it is. We go through these ebbs and flows, but yeah, I don't think that you can discount the fact that tax season is now going to be becoming behind us, and that should all clear up for the next 8 months until December, when we start talking about tax loss harvesting and yada 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 yada. So yeah, I mean, it's down right now. We've seen this again when you zoom out. I mean, we're still kind of in this big channel that we've been trading in. You said it right from the beginning of the year. It's going to be a volatile year. Don't know if any all-time highs are going to be made, but there's going to be a lot of volatility within that sideways channel. And so far in the first 3.5 months of this year, that seems to be proving pretty true.
Correct.
I guess the other third cryptocurrency that we should probably start mentioning, as other people have been talking about it a lot, not just free market on this show, Dogecoin. Block CEO, Robinhood CEO scuffle on Twitter over Bitcoin fees. That is obviously Vlad Tenev and Jack Dorsey know that Vlad Tenev let Jack Dorsey know that he can buy his beloved Bitcoin more cheaply on Robinhood. Also, SBF has some thoughts. Essentially, this was Vlad going on saying that Dogecoin could be the currency of the internet. They need to increase their block size to scale up the TPS, transaction per second, saying that it's at about 40 per second right now, and they need to start to get up to Visa's theoretical 65,000 TPS. I don't know if that's entirely necessary. Jack Dorsey, obviously a Bitcoin maxi, not thrilled about that. He started going after Vlad and, of course, Robinhood, and then Vlad kind of shot back. Interesting kind of back and forth. But I just thought it was interesting, just because, free market does come up here and talk about the power of Doge, the power of the meme behind Doge, and the fact that it is an incredibly transactable and cheap cryptocurrency. Sam Bankman-Fried of FTX also agrees. He went on a bit of a Twitter rant as well, talking about that, where the internet's crypto or the currency of the internet could go, and then finally kind of just landed on Doge being something that will take over there. So interesting kind of back and forth, and I thought it was pretty cool that your opinion that sometimes people will roll their eyes at is maybe a little bit valid.
3 years ago, I wrote a very long thread. It was basically a thesis that I was only on FinTwit at the time. I did not wear an NFT as my PFP, and I was not into crypto. I had observed some things. I had an epiphany because a meme was put on the cover of Bloomberg magazine, and I wrote a thread called Things Are Going to Get Stupider. And this thread outlined why I believed Doge was going to $10 and why I thought it would eventually flip Bitcoin. And the basic tenets were that this was the currency that Gen Z was adopting. This was more memeable than Bitcoin, and Bitcoin has only ever been a meme. That's all Bitcoin ever was, or a store against a store of value. It's nonsense. This is a false narrative about scarcity. Okay, there has never been a greater abundance of scarcity. Scarcity isn't valuable, especially when it's just created out of thin air. Nobody gives a shit. All right. Whereas Doge is easily the most recognizable, best marketed, best crypto out there. It's the most recognizable one by your average person. Bitcoin used to be that, but the time is over. And you can see Bitcoin maxis are getting very, very touchy recently. And I will tell you right now that
As
the
if they weren't
biggest,
always.
well, yes. And the thing is, though, day by day, Bitcoin becomes more and more irrelevant. Who even uses the only time I ever hear about Bitcoin is when it's being changed into something else, either fiat because it made you rich or ETH because you actually want to do something with it. Otherwise, what the fuck is it? It has no reason for existing. Whereas Doge is actually cheap enough to use to buy things. People tip each other with it. Doge is a fabulous cryptocurrency. This will be the cryptocurrency of it. Will be the financial banking layer. You can take that shit to the fucking bank. And when I wrote that article, Doge was a third of a cent. Okay. I can tell you right now that this will flip Bitcoin. I will tell you it with a straight face. Okay. Bitcoin's days are over.
Yeah, right now you said a third of a cent back then. Doge sitting at 13%, definitely not immune to the drop in the crypto market. But it's one of those things that like the whole time this has been going on, everyone hasn't really taken it seriously. Particularly Bitcoin maxis. Sorry, I should say. It was a joke. It was just a meme. People had no value. There was no underlying reason for Doge to exist, and it kept growing in volume. It kept growing steam. It kept picking up users. And that power of the meme really kind of took over. It's every step of the way has exceeded expectations. And then of course Elon and the cult of Elon. We saw what happened with Twitter just by him buying 9% and tweeting about it, and then trolling the Twitter board about whether he was going to join or not. That was a whole fascinating thing. But when Elon decides to jump into something, his cult really does follow him. Doge was massive when he started tweeting it. I can't even remember what it got up to. It got up to almost $1 at one point, didn't it? But again, it just keeps building and it just keeps growing. And as Free Market said, it's very useful. I don't own any and I never have any of it, but I understand, like, it's very cheap to tip somebody in Doge. Just send it over, and I do imagine that we'll see more integrated use cases into these big platforms. I know Twitter was one that Elon was looking to put it into.
If you're DCAing into Bitcoin, you're out of your mind. Doge is an easy 100x by the year 2030. That's what I'd be DCAing into. $10 incoming.
Doge to $10. You heard it here. Maybe not first, but you definitely heard it here. Yes, very. Yeah, it's. You think SHIB can keep up with it too, or you think that that's going to be a leave it in the dust?
No, I mean, and that's what this is, and this is, it really encapsulates the point. Look at something like SHIB. I would argue that as many people around the world know about SHIB as Bored Ape Yacht Club. Now think about this, okay? Bored Ape Yacht Club is like the thing in our, it's the kits, what everyone wants to flip up into. It takes all the mind share. It leads all the fucking discourse, right? More people know about Shiba Inu coin than fucking Bored Ape Yacht Club. This whole game is about marketing. Everything you've ever seen in your life is an attention token. Human beings, they will pay you if you can grab their attention. Pay you handsomely. That's all anything is trying to do here. Shiba Inu has had some of the best marketing of all time.
And Chris pointing out
it's
that
relevant.
74 cents was the all-time high on Doge. I knew it was somewhere up there.
Yeah, I remember
it was right
that.
around the SNL appearance on by Musk in May. I can't believe that was almost a year ago. That's crazy.
And look, that was a blow off top, and that was a factor of its time. I don't think it has anything to do with my fundamental case. I would actually say Doge is a great entry around here. It's the type of thing I would dollar cost average into, and it sounds crazy to people. Bitcoin has been adopted by institutions, and it's this thing. I genuinely think the 2030s are going to see such a reckoning for something like Bitcoin that anybody, and the thing is, none of these idiots are ever going to sell. That's the best part. All these billionaires, all these people that made all this money and refuse to see the future, they're all going to go busto. It's classic. I mean, all this wealth that's been generated, most of it's going to go bust. So it's going to happen in the 2030s when we enter the next secular bear, just like from 2001 until 2013.
Keep an eye on Doge. Let's move into the NFT space. We all know the NBA's, forward-thinking, their ability to forward think and adopt. They did a great job with social media and adopting that, letting their players kind of, be personalities and out there, as we've seen a lot of sports leagues try and dissuade their players from doing that. The NHL in particular, not very good in that regard. A lot of crypto advertisements now centered around the NBA. And then, of course, the FTX arena, the crypto.com arena. The NBA has been very progressive in terms of its adoption of cryptocurrency and NFTs, of course, with Top Shot. And we all know what Top Shot did for onboarding people into not only crypto, but NFTs and all of these concepts and ideas. The NBA has now teased Ethereum-based NFTs for the playoffs after launching its Discord server. The NBA is ramping up its NFT and Web3 efforts following of NBA Top Shot, and it's headed to Ethereum. This is incredibly exciting stuff because, because the NBA is always a little bit ahead of the curve and looking for future adoption and staying relevant. Them moving to Ethereum, not one of these other side chains or Solana or anything like that, is an incredibly bullish sign for all of the above, including NFTs. And I do think that this is going to continue to springboard the adoption of people into ETH-based NFTs. Obviously, if you're going to participate, you're probably going to need to buy ETH in the first place. That's a good that's a good first step. The NBA's reach is just absolutely incredible. And with all of the athletes that we've seen adopt NFTs and crypto over the past year, let's just say, with Steph Curry buying the Bored Ape, there's just an endless supply of people that are participating in this ecosystem. The NBA dropping this is going to be a really big deal. The Discord is also, they're looking to have it be, a place for NBA fans and NFT fans to kind of congregate. It's not specifically about their NFTs, but they're just trying to make it like a hub, a central ecosystem for people to get together, to learn, figure out how to onboard it, and just generally be good NFT participants. So
boy,
this is very exciting for me.
If Top Shot really needed a reason for another leg lower, here it is. That Flow blockchain
100%.
is really going to need that Disney buyout any day now. This is bad news for Flow. Ooh, we're getting NBA NFTs on L1.
That's the plan. Yeah.
Ship it.
I think these are going to be incredibly profound for NFTs in general. general, but particularly the ETH chain, as if it needed a reason to, or you needed any other reason to be incredibly bullish on it. Again, like the NBA is just a great metric of, has a great track record of success for picking, winning technologies to go into. So fantastic. And it looks like it's going to be happening pretty soon if it's based on these playoffs, which it's just kicked off. I think
Disney, why won't you save me?
How are the Knicks doing in the playoffs?
Fabulous. Fabulous. What are you even asking? Fabulous.
It's okay. The Lakers didn't make it. I'm out. I'm out.
Man, I love the Knicks. Michael Jordan was really a pain in the ass. we should have had so many championships. Anyway.
Yeah, NBA cock blocked by Michael Jordan for the NBA championships. Yeah, you ain't wrong. You ain't wrong. What's fueling the rise of NFT photography collecting? I just wanted to share this. We've talked about photography definitely going to get its fair shake in the NFT meta eventually. Sometime this year, you're going to see it pop off. Already doing great. I mean, Justin Aversano's floor last time I checked was like 220 ETH. Drifter had the 50 ETH floor or above, and we're starting to see some of it move. Photography became part of the fine art world only about a century ago. Now NFT photography is making inroads with younger collectors. This is just a really fascinating article that highlights the fact that you got to remember photography as an art medium is still very new, right? Like paintings have been around for thousands of years. All of these, collectibles that have grown into tens or hundreds of millions of dollars in value, the Da Vinci's, the Van Goghs, et cetera, et cetera. This has been a medium that's existed forever. Photography as an art medium is still relatively new. The article goes on to highlight the fact that, a mere 30, 40 years ago at Sotheby's, a high-priced photography photography piece was about $80,000, and now they'll sell for, in the 2010s, up to $3 million. Right, that's incredible growth over that period of time. NFTs are the newest way to take that into the digital realm. Obviously, with social media, photo sharing apps like Instagram have really, really propelled photography, amateur photography. Oh my God, whatever that word is, and NFT photography is obviously going to have its time.
Yeah, this is a very logical medium for it, as today's photography tends to be digital first. And that makes sense for NFTs. That is really easy. Take picture, make NFT. This is very good for photographers. We're starting to see that area of NFTs take off. And it was led by Twin Flames, of course, last year. Justin's collection that really took both the NFT world and the trad art world by storm, auctioning off at Sotheby's, I want to say for a high of like $600,000 for one of them. And it has really started to blossom this year. I think there's been a bit of a lull just in the last month or so, but I think right now what you're seeing in the NFT market is a demand for quality. And that's not to demean anyone, but that is to say that world-class artists who have been averse to maybe going digital or going NFT are starting to make their way in a big way, and world-class art stands out. Most people know it when they see it. It just takes you can't explain it. And as those entities start to move into our world, whether it's something like Azuki with their team that has a pedigree in art, or whether it's something like Murakami, who is now doing his second collection with his flowers after collaborating with Artifact. This is going to be the trend this year. I think you're going to see the quality of NFT go up. I think you're going to see the starting price of NFT go up, just like how Azuki's were 1 ETH or Moonbirds were 2.5 ETH. And that's going to be the norm. This is what you're going to look for. It's not going to necessarily be these mints that are between 0.02 and 0.1, and there's a bunch of them every week, and we're looking for the next one that's going to take. No, I actually think NFTs are maturing. It's happening in front of your eyes, and you need to adapt along with it.
Yeah, I definitely think we're going to see a lot of these, strongly curated platforms like Quantum and whatnot really lead the charge in this too, right? Like where they're onboarding well-known photographers into the space and really just getting the word out to people that are still in the traditional Web 2 world about why this can be so valuable and why it's powerful, not only as like a monetary process, but really just securing your own stuff on chain and proving digital ownership. You look at things like Instagram; it's a great place for photo sharing and all of that stuff, but there's no verification that one, you actually took the photo, when it was taken, where, blah blah blah, whether you own it or not. Obviously, when you post something on these social media platforms, like they have the ownership over it now. There's so many reasons why, and we've talked about it ad nauseum over the past 6 months of doing the show, why NFTs are powerful, but particularly for photography, I think it does add an extra layer of I don't want to say legitimacy because that's to take away from everything that's come, but an extra layer of maybe security for ownership, because photography has been such a victim of the right click save, even in the Web 2 world, right? It's funny, they complain about all of this. Oh, click save it, now I own it. That's been going on forever. Now you can actually just verify that it was taken by this person, when it was taken, and what the chain of ownership has, and what was paid for it throughout all of those times.
And most photographers that I talk to say that Instagram is over. It's just a very unusable app at this point. And I know people have been saying that for years. And honestly, it wasn't true. People are complainers. But I will tell you, if you try to scroll through your Instagram feed right now, it is a minimum of 50% people you do not follow, suggested posts. They bury anybody in your feed they don't deem has the ability to keep you addicted to your phone. So that could be friends, that could be people it doesn't think are popular. It's made it very hard if you are a small photographer to get off the ground. Whereas before, cream rose to the top, and that was what people really liked about it. So I have heard from photographers they're almost being forced over to Twitter and NFTs because how bad Instagram has gotten. And it really is. It's an unusable app at this point. It really sucks because there was something good there, but I think there's a couple, right now, the number one addictive dopamine getter is that TikTok algorithm, right? It's the idea of these short videos that last a few seconds, that are exactly about topics you want in a constant stream. I mean, I don't have TikTok on my phone, but everybody tells me that after a few days, once that algorithm knows you, it is crazy. It is crazy. Like the algorithm will stream you shit you want to see 24 hours a day, and it's so good. So I think that this is really what you're dealing with, and it's why you're seeing a great avenue for photographers to move over to NFTs and Twitter. So.
Yeah, the TikTok algorithm it's insane. I actually have to consciously try and flip through NFT content as fast as possible so that it thinks I don't like it, although it's probably not buying that at this point, just because the NFT stuff on there is so cringy. It's like somebody saying that they just paid $25 for a Bored Ape and flipped it for 300,000 in the span of 5 minutes, and look how much money I made. And anybody that's in NFTs knows, oh god, that's complete and utter bullshit. But it's there and it exists. So yeah, need to get morning show clips on TikTok. Could be there for it. Never know. I got to figure out how to use TikTok properly. I've always consumed it. I've never created it. So if any of you guys are TikTok experts, let me know. Big thing going on today was the Murakami flowers drop. This has been on a wild ride, sitting at, well, let's refresh it because this one is volatile right now. 6.3 ETH floor, 6.4. It was sitting at 5.5 there before I refreshed it. It's been going as low as 4 ETH. The volume has been incredibly high. It's been all over the place, and it has dropped. I think it was up to 11 ETH at one point before all of this went down. obviously the big discussion around this is the mint process and the raffle selection. Probably should have used pre-mint, as there's a lot more checks and balances to go through for that. But apparently there was about 1 million entries into that list. So if you were just sitting on one, you had a very, very low chance of getting in on this. I heard also that upwards of 30,000 entries were submitted by one person. I can imagine that they got a good chunk of these. And based on all of that, the the thought is that this is going to be very price suppressive for a while, as these people that really botted the shit out of the raffle process are going to be dumping their supply for a very long time. But that being said, I mean, it's still sitting at 6.8 ETH was the last sale right now, so still doing incredible. But I would be looking for this to maybe end up even going a little bit lower, and then could be off to the races. Obviously, there's some incredible excitement around it. It's Murakami. We all know the ties to Artifact, CloneX, et cetera, et cetera. And anytime that somebody's willing to pay, upwards of $20,000 for an NFT, there's got to be something there. So 15,000 ETH in volume traded thus far, and here we are. What have you been seeing about Murakami on the Twitter and people that have been winning the raffles?
Yeah, I mean, I am a big non-believer in utility. I hate the word utility. I know people are hung up on it and believe NFTs have to
Big
be more. I
conversation
think
right now,
somebody, yeah, I think somebody like Murakami doesn't have to do anything. He is an example of what I just talked about. Okay, known artists moving into our space. Yes, there is utility to a Murakami flower. Yes, there is utility to a Drifter shoots photo. These are access to an artist, and that's all really, I think, NFTs give you. There's only two utilities right now, in a sense, and that would be flexing it in your PFP bubble and access to either an artist or an entity. And and something like Doodles or Azuki, that certainly translates into maybe parties that people want to be at, merchandise, licensing, things like that. With these artists, access has always been a thing that they've sold, and whether that's been rich patrons buying their art and meeting them at a gallery, or having first access to drops, or all sorts of stuff like that. And I think that is how artists, especially ones who are who understand the NFT market a little better than trad artists. I like Murakami, who's worked with Artifact. I think they understand that. I just don't think it's going to be the type of utility that comes out in a roadmap, right? I would caution anybody to put out a roadmap at this point. Roadmaps are bad. But yeah, I don't know what I don't know what the Murakami flowers do, if that's what you're asking about the utility. As far as I know, it's a flower. And they're expensive flowers. And I think that this is not, I think we're going to talk about Moonbirds in a second, but that's turning into a liquidity injection event. All right.
And I'm excited to talk about that, because I thought that was going to be the case. But yeah.
Right, and I'm looking at Murakami, and it seems to be the same thing, as these were all minted for 0.1. They're sitting at 7 on the secondary, and the type of people that want these are the type of people who put money into our market. I think, in retrospect, Moonbirds and Murakami flowers are going to be very bullish for NFTs. I know everyone's down bad over the last week and a half, especially people sitting on PFPs, as PFPs have gone through a pretty violent bubble. I actually think they've popped and probably aren't coming back for a few months. Could be 3 months, 4 months, 5, 6, who knows? Could be next year. But right now we're moving into something we had talked about a lot at the end of last year, as we saw it coming, and that is the era of known artists and the era of NFTs taking that next step in both technology and the quality due to the type of people who are getting into the industry. So that's where we're moving towards. And I think that Murakami flowers is a great example of what we just talked about.
Yeah, the only thing that I might slightly disagree with you on there but I will completely agree with you on with the Moonbirds with the liquidity injection is just with the way that they did the raffle. My concern would be that there is, one person that maybe got to mint 1,000 of these, if that's how many, it's probably not that high. Let's say 3, 4, 500 of them with all of those entries, and now they're dumping, and all of that ETH is probably being extracted. I think that is the one general frustration about how all of this went down, and another reason why, like, I continue to be super bullish on something like Premint for how they handle their systems, because and let's just get into Moonbirds. um I think that was actually handled incredibly well with the, obviously the large amounts of botting that people were trying to do with the pre-mint system. They definitely had some systems in place to nullify a lot of the shenanigans that were going on, although I'm sure some creative people got around them. And then, of course, people with just a large amount of ETH could definitely split it up and hold it in the wallets. But they did take a snapshot at some point of the 2.5 ETH, and if it was no longer in there, your entry was going to be null and void. Moonbirds has, I mean, if it's possible to exceed expectations, it has done it. It was just the most hyped thing that I could think of this year. It seemed like a foregone conclusion that it was going to moon. I know on Friday we talked about, it's going to shoot up to 8 ETH and like look for maybe a top around 12 while it gets a little frothy in there. It did shoot up to 8 ETH. It did shoot up to 12 ETH. And then there was some pullbacks here and there where it looked like it was settling out a little bit, but this thing has gone absolutely ballistic. 21 ETH, give it a refresh again. I would not be surprised to see it higher. 21 ETH sitting at even right now. This is just incredible. They did instant reveal, which I thought was pretty cool. There was obviously enough hype around it, and we knew that these things were going to be hitting the market as fast as possible. They instant revealed. That was, made it a little bit more simple. And, one of the things that we're pretty critical of is, these projects like Mechaverse, if we want to go to a throwback, or Hape, where they let their NFTs sit pre-revealed or unrevealed, sorry, for a long time in that phase, and let the volume just kind of churn, because they know that Hape's not going to sit at 9 ETH after these things reveal, so they let it go for 10 days, they let it go for 2 weeks, they collect 20-30,000 ETH in volume. These things hit the market and just started flying, no pun intended, right away. They're at 70,000 ETH in volume traded, which is really, really quickly, I'll pull up the list, but really quickly moving up the ranks of the all-time list, and it's just in one weekend. So just an incredible cook. Congratulations to anybody that got it. I read a Zeneca thread about how difficult this market can be, because for everybody that's sitting on the sidelines saying, I didn't get one of these, this sucks, it does, it is unfortunate and it burns. I didn't get one myself. But there are also those people that minted at 2.5 ETH and sold at 7.5, thinking like, okay, this is the top, and now they're going to wake up seeing it 3 times that. And there's so much cope all the way through on a project like this. It is pretty incredible to watch the market dynamics kind of unfold surrounding it, because it's just not something we see particularly often. Even Azuki was way more drawn out than this.
Hundreds of millions of dollars. Okay. And so many new wallets were opened to buy Moonbirds. So many new wallets.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's pretend, if you want to be cynical and go down that trope, it would only take about $5 million over 24 hours to wash trade 70,000 ETH. Take about $5 million. That's a rounding error for most VCs. I don't think that's what happened here. Now, you could argue that all those new wallets that opened up could have been, nefariously planned. But I don't think that's what happened here. I think that every VC in the world was on the phone with each other over the last week talking about these things. They are now about to leverage the power of NFTs for venture capitalism. This is such a large liquidity injection into the NFT market. It is bananas. And I think that over the next 3 weeks, we are going to see the positive repercussions of this, no question. I think that anybody who was lucky in it, those VCs, they weren't entering the raffle. I mean, they may have. I don't think they fucking went out of their day. I bet a ton of them forgot. Oh shit, I was supposed to enter that. Okay.
Oh, 100%.
They didn't
Yeah,
give a fuck.
they weren't sitting
You
there
think-
making as many accounts, wallets, Twitter accounts, etc., as
No,
possible to do
they don't
it.
give a fuck.
Wouldn't even
They
be
were
worth their
like,
time,
oh, what do you
honestly.
think these things are going to? They probably didn't even talk about them in ETH terms. They were probably sitting around like, what do you think these things are going to be? 25, 50 grand? What do you think? How many do we got? This is nothing for a fucking view. They'll throw $3 million at a shit project that goes to zero. Okay, this is nothing for them. Fucking $60,000 for this pixel bird. This is real money coming into the markets. You love to say it. It reeks of Clonex and Nike.
It does. 100%.
I mean, this was when the amount of new wallets you saw being created to buy Nike swag, and it's because NFTs finally appealed to people outside of the NFT market. We're still a bunch of niched out nerds over here. We don't. There's not. You need outside money to come in. For any of us to WGMI this bitch, we need outside money coming in. This is one of the best injections we've ever seen, and we're going to feel these repercussions for a while. So cheers to the Moonbirds. Love the fucking Moonbirds. So bullish, so good. They're probably toppy here. I mean, I don't know if they go much higher from here. If they fell back to 12, I don't think anyone would be too mad, but who knows? I mean, I don't know. If it was really all VC money, then who knows? Maybe they can keep going. I don't know what you would do. I guess it just depends on what you do. If you are in the business side of NFTs, if you build projects, if you are a investor, it's probably valuable to get into Moonbirds. But if it is, if you do not fit into that, if you are just a trader, maybe you take the 20 ETH here. I don't know. No, I don't have a Moonbird. I do not.
Yeah, Decoy is saying I sold my top 10% at 11 ETH. I'm gonna cry, dude. This is one of those projects where it's just very tough, right? Because 2.5 ETH for a lot of people is a substantial part, if not all of their liquidity. I know a lot of people that tried to free up every ounce of liquidity to enter once, twice, 3 times just to have a shot at one of these. And there's a really reasonable chance that now, especially if you held through all of this, you just saw a 5 to 10x of your entire portfolio. Incredible, right? And those are one of those things that sometimes you just have to actually live with it. And I know no amount of me saying that is going to make it feel better when you can look back and say I could have got 30, I could have got 40. Some people, for the top tier ones, much more than that too. But when you're playing it tight and you're really taking this moonshot, sometimes you just got to kind of secure the bag, and going from 2.5 ETH to 12 ETH is just an incredible win over the course of a weekend. And hopefully you can deploy that new liquidity into it, but as free market set, or into some other projects that get you great returns as well. As free market said, this is a lot of outside money coming in to try and scoop these things up, right? So for every person that was low liquidity and really overextending themselves at 2.5 ETH, dinging one of these, they now are flush with liquidity. And I got to believe that most of them are going to sell, especially with it sitting at 21 ETH right now. Now flush with liquidity. And sure, maybe you take some of that out. You clear up the debt on your car, you pay off your Visa bill, all those great things. But I can't believe that all of it is coming out. And so now this money is going to start moving. Now somebody says, well, shit, I can buy a Doodles. Shit, maybe I can buy an Azuki if I got a good pull on the Moonbirds. And then, that Azuki sale or that Doodle sale probably is a good profit for that person, and they start to spread it out lower and lower. There's an incredible ripple effect that happens when you start to see all of this ETH enter the ecosystem. So if anything was going to kind of kickstart some higher volume, outside of the 69,000 that they've already put up, I think this is one of those events. Absolutely. I'm just going to pull up some of the highest sales here too, because, in terms of rarity, these things were not all created equal as well. Some of them selling for just absolutely incredible amounts. This one here, 135 ETH, 130 ETH for these two, 120 for these two. Like this has been an incredibly wild ride. the show did not disappoint, and I think
See, these are cool too.
they look great. They look great.
I like the way they look. Like, I think they're cool.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. That's a killer combo right there.
Yeah, certainly doesn't hurt.
You know,
I mean,
desirable and good looking.
these were
That's-
always
hey.
touted as a utility NFT, right? You stake it, the longer you stake it, the more benefits and the more valuable the NFT becomes to you, because once you unstake it, those gains are lost to whoever decides to buy it. But certainly doesn't hurt that seeing them in the people's PFP bubbles, they look pretty dope too. They did a really good job of this collection.
Yeah, daddy's rich and mama's good looking. Mm-hmm.
Endot saying a lot of outside money from wealthy folks that weren't aware at the drop time. That's why it had uptrend 2 days post drop. I think now it settles around 12 to 13. I mean, that wouldn't surprise me. And the run from 2.5 to 21 is absolutely outstanding. But at this point,
Speaking of drop time, have you seen the Cool Cats floor?
Oh no, I actually haven't checked back in on that with the with the Cool Pets drop. I'm assuming because you're bringing it up, it's not pretty.
They probably climbed back above 6. I don't know. They hit a pretty low. Could you stop Googling? You got to go to the OpenSea.
I know.
Google's Web3 things. You're giving me
anxiety,
brain aneurysm.
Yeah.
There we go. 6.5.
Yeah, so Cool Cat's definitely the recipient of not mooning after Pets. So yeah, tough one there.
Boy, I saw people over the weekend like, oh, you just press a button and it quests for you. It's almost like a yield protocol. I said, oh boy. Oh boy. Ooh boy. Well, you know,
one of them things. Cass, you can come up. I'll shoot you a DM, but I will tell you we have about 10 minutes before we gotta jump off here. I don't even know where you are on this list here. There you are. Yes, people were saying so many. I'm assuming this is in regards to Moonbirds. There's no way that it sustains. I would be surprised to see it lower than 12, 15 at this point. But don't take my word for it.
GM
Cass, how you doing?
Yeah, living the dream. Cool Pets. I saw that come up and I was like, oh.
Yeah, I wanted to actually talk to you about it too, because you've been having fun with it. I know you've been talking about enjoying it. Yeah,
it's pretty cool. It's like
it's always good to hear like the counterpoint of somebody that's actually enjoying playing the game.
Okay, right. The problem is at the moment is because Cool Pets have made it so easy to instantly get milk, right? So there's no need to stake. There's no need to make another transaction to kind of take the tokens out. It's just automatically after you've done the quest, you get paid. And what I think people are doing is they're maxing out the 10 goals that they're allowed to quest per pet, getting that and just exchanging it.
Yeah, just dumping, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, based on this chart, that's absolutely true.
It's the prisoner's dilemma in game theory that they're going through.
Yeah, so it's like all they really need is for people to enjoy the game. When people enjoy the game, then they're going to start putting money into the game because they want to, power up their pet. For me, it's been perfect because like whenever I do spend, it's peanuts at the moment considering where it was. I mean, I think I spent 0.1 ETH. I converted 0.1 ETH at 2 cents. So now we're like half that, but then I've managed to get some pets or some food or stuff like that for my 2 pets. And I think my play on it is not worry about it now. Get my pets out, hopefully get an air and a fire, sell one of them come summertime, because I think summertime will do well, and then be ready for liquid coming into September, October.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty reasonable plan there. I mean, yeah, again, enjoying the game is always like a great first step if the game's fun. And like, are you in the Cool Cats community, or are you talking to other people that are having similar experiences to you, like less price focused and more just like this is I'm just having a good time playing this?
FMC is going to relate to me when I say this, and no disrespect to the Cool Cats community, they're not my type of people, innit? If I'm honest with you, they're not my type of people. They're cool people. They're nice people.
Yeah, sure.
They're
You're not obligated to get along to your eye to eye with everybody.
no.
Right?
To be fair, I haven't even tried. But I believe in the project and I believe in what they're doing. It's just I'm not really interested in saying hi to them, to be honest. If I need something, it's like, hey, this is fucked, sort it. But bar that, it's I'm literally treating them as a consumer, as an everyday IRL consumer that will only purchase it, not to be part of the community, but to play the fucking game. And I think I feel more comfortable that way because I'd rather spend my time and effort on communities that I get along with more. Star Wars.
I've heard of this. Yeah. No.
Hey,
great community. You guys are awesome.
Hey, did you see my tweet?
Yeah, I saw that tweet. You did a little digging.
There was no digging, bros. It's
No,
just like, I kid you not, Charlie Hilton, Silicon Valley. And the only reason I'd done that was because when FMC mentioned Charlie Hilton, great guy from Silicon Valley. And I always remembered that. So I thought, oh. Because when you put Charlie Hilton first, it's a girl that comes up. And you're like, this is Charlie. I've heard him. It doesn't sound like him.
Voice doesn't match, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, it was a pleasant surprise. But one thing that made me wonder about this industry even more, the information was right there in front of everyone's faces, but no one decided to do the research to check it out. That's
right. Well, I mean, I don't know that nobody did. Maybe they just didn't put it as publicly as.
No. Let's look at Crypto Wall Street. Crypto Wall Street does deep dives and everything into everyone.
Does he?
Well, yeah, that's what he does. He gives reports and so on and so forth of each and every thing that he does, and he didn't pick it up. Yeah,
well, that's what I'm saying. It's
no,
never.
Collab managers, CyberKong's collab managers didn't pick it up. None of them picked it up. So it's just like it actually made me feel so dumb when I figured it out because it was literally right there in front of my face. But yeah, good news.
Yeah, it's great. Hey, there's no secrets here, my friend.
Well, no, this is it. It's just there's no secrets. It's the way that you guys do it, which is fucking hilarious. Really, it reminded me of the first time I met FMC. That's what it reminded me of. The first time I met FMC. He probably doesn't remember that because every time I get on here, he just keeps quiet and just doesn't want to talk to me because I'm not his friend anymore.
You're my friend. Oh. I want to talk to you. You have to remind me of the moment, though.
No, basically, it was when one of the first posts that you guys did on Star Wars, and I decided to kind of like every single fucking message that was on there. I think you and Scott must have gathered, and then you kind of liked my message, and I was like, oh. But you didn't have anything about AlphaMint. It was Scott that had something about AlphaMint at the time, and that's how I jumped into the server.
Love it.
A cheeky little laugh there.
So yeah, but yeah, no, and MOONBIRD, what a wonderful project. Just
killed it, man. I don't know how it exceeded expectations, but it did. Unless other people were saying that it was going to go straight to above 20 ETH.
You'd be surprised. No, you'd be surprised at how many people were like 2.5 ETH for a day. People don't people can't. Your average person can't tell the difference between this and Pixelmon. They really can't. I mean, you can't. You can't even blame them. I guess it takes a sophisticated approach. But I'm telling you, people that I interact with every day, they were asking me about MOONBIRD's I could say automatic send at 2.5 ETH till I'm blue in the face, and people are still like, but what is it about them? But what? It's like, I don't know.
Listen, you know what it is. You know what it is with them kind of people there. Yeah. And I think it's a lot of people in the industry. Going back to even the first thing, you have to literally spoon feed these fuckers. Yeah. And if they don't want to do research, they don't want to see. All you had to do was check who the fuck Proof is, and you'd know, shit, this could be an actual cook.
Yeah.
That's all you
Well,
had.
you know, the other thing is too, I think that a lot of people at this point are conditioned to seeing 2.5, 3 ETH mint price and it just immediately thinking, well, that's a cash grab. There's no way that it's worth that or whatnot, right? And I think that they get lost in all of this noise that happens because something like Pixelmon happens. Because some of these other projects, like, you know, those shitty 3D PFP animals that all had the same background and the same traits and stuff, they just reskinned them over and over again, and they were climbing up to 0.6, 0.75 ETH mint price, and people were still going for them. And I think that the counteraction to all of that has just been that, you know, the average NFT participant just at this point sees high mint price, cash grab, don't want it, get the fuck out of NFTs, you're not welcome here, blah 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 blah. You know, you do a little bit of research, you see what the Proof Collective is, you see what who Kevin Rose is, the connections that they have, and then just having the right people excited about this project going into it, right? Because those are the people that are saying like this is really important. Like you kind of need to listen to them, right? When you see these other projects and like they're minting for 0.75, 1 ETH, 1.5 ETH, and there's not a single like noteworthy NFT participant that's at least mentioned it, like some red flags should go off.
My statement is very simple. Yeah. There's a reason why a Ford Focus is £10,000 and a Ferrari Testarossa is $1 million. They're both a car. They both do the same shit. They both take you from A to B, which is what people think what NFTs are. But when you want a certain type of people, price determines shit.
100%.
And do you know what I mean? People need to kind of wisen up very quickly. If you see a 2.5 mint, that's not for your everyday.
Well, and here's the thing: you could go out, design a beautiful car. If you're a great designer, beautiful car, you're gonna say this thing has 1,000 horsepower in it, blah 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 blah. That's great, but unless like relevant like people in the car industry or celebrity, or, like unless there's like some real demand for it, it doesn't fucking really matter, does it?
Exactly.
Like, Ferrari has that status, Bentley has that status, Rolls-Royce has that status, Patek Philippe has that status, Richard Mille, like these ultra luxury brands are there because there's demand, because the right people think that they're amazing or want to have them, and then everybody else wants to have it too, right?
100%. It's the same with this, like it's the same with this. And that's why even when I said with Cool Cats, the community doesn't dig me. Not dig me, I haven't tried, but they're cool people, don't get me wrong, but as I said, I feel more at home in Star Wars, I feel more at home at Habibi's, I feel, what's a really good community, weirdly enough? Crypto Mories.
I've always heard great things about that. I think Free Market's always been a big advocate for that community, is it?
Yeah, I'm not in the Discord, but I do know, I observe the community from the outside and admire their gusto. And it's one of my 3 favorite projects for art from last year, which, my 3 favorite art was Lemons, Kaijus, and Crypto Moors. So those are my 3 favorite just based on the art from last year.
The reason I picked one up was because, if I can get it up quickly, they have released on their server access to... let me jump on their server quickly and I'll tell you. Where are you? Impact Suite. Have you heard of Impact Suite?
No.
So Crypto Mories offers free confidential therapy and mental health tools to the entire fam Mori, which is from this company called Impact Suite. Which
nice.
The 3-4 apps are personal growth, depression and anxiety, substance abuse, and sexual compulsivity. And you can have one-to-one session with professional people through these apps, free of charge, for your friends and family if you hold a Crypto Mori.
That's cool.
And that got released on the 15th. So I yeah, if I'm hands up honest, I would use them services from time to time.
Right.
And to have that ability to have it in an NFT, I think it's a good hook. So
Yeah, I mean, again, we talk about it all the time. It's just it's a team and a community that just continue to do things, continue to exist, continue to be strong. I mean, they got their ass kicked by that stupid delisting on OpenSea very briefly there back in February. But like, I mean, I mean, they just. I like the crypto Moris. They're just, they're a staple if you ask me.
yeah, so I got one. I got one just to put in the thing, put in the wallet. I think summertime it might have a run, and then I'll probably exit summertime and then probably come back in December more than likely. Where pickings, yeah. But on that note, I know you guys are gonna go.
Yeah, we do have to wrap this up. We've got some stuff that got to be taken care of after the weekend. But I saw N-Dot asking about Murakami. We did discuss that just before the Moonbirds conversation that we had. So yeah, that project got botted to shit. On that note, we talked about the crypto market taking a little bit of a dive. I don't even want to refresh it right now with my track record. Still sitting at about the same as when we did the show. We talked about the scuffle between Vlad, SBF, and Jack Dorsey over Dogecoin. And Free Market did a great job about breaking down why Dogecoin is going to continue to be relevant and important. We talked about NBA jumping into Ethereum-based NFTs. Great news for us, bad news for Top Shot. Photography NFTs continue to be front and center as they, have that slow burn. They're going to have a moment. We talked about the Murakami flowers getting absolutely botted and really just unfortunate for the people that legitimately wanted to try and get their hands on these, but they're sitting at about 5.5, 6 ETH right now. And then, of course, a huge conversation surrounding Moonbirds and all of the madness that followed after their mint there, doing absolutely incredible, sitting at 21 ETH last time I checked. It's probably changed since then. On that note, we are going to wrap it up for the day. Thank you, Cass, for joining us up on stage. We will be back tomorrow morning to continue the show. I hope everyone has an amazing Easter Monday. Free Market, get us out of here.
Good luck at the tables, D-Gens.